ready? You got me running, you got me running, got me running. Shake it, shake it, shake it, baby. Raise your hands up, raise them up.
Good evening, good evening, good evening. Hi, everyone, and welcome to the After Dark show. This is the Adult Relationship Show, and you are here with us this evening, and we have got a really juicy subject tonight. But before I go into that, I just want to thank you for joining us here tonight. We have a live panel. And we also have you guys. So do remember to put your comments in the comment thread, whether you are on Facebook or whether you are on YouTube. Put your comments in and we will do our best to read them out this evening. So this evening, as I said, we have our panel, and we've been talking about many different aspects of relationships, and we've gone through a sex series. Last week we had the launch of the After Dark Pleasures lingerie launch, and which went very, very well. So I just want to let you know that those pieces are available to members of the public, and so buy them for Christmas, buy them for your loved ones, buy them for your lady. And hopefully you'll have some really exciting times wearing those lovely pieces of lingerie. So without further ado, I am going to introduce, before I even tell you what tonight's show's about, I'm going to introduce our panel. And I do believe we have some males in the green room right now. So I'm going to ask and see if Herbie's ready to come in. Herbie, you ready? Are you here?
I'm here. I've just lost my video. Hold on a minute. I'm coming through.
Okay, good evening. Good to see you.
All right. Can you see me?
I can see you
All
and
right.
I can
Okay.
hear you.
Good.
Yes,
Good.
wonderful.
All right.
And also, I think, is Tony in the green room? Wonderful.
Big up yourself.
How you doing, Tony?
I'm well, thank you.
Good to see you. Good to have you back this week.
Yeah, a few problems last week, but yeah, all sorted.
No worries, no worries, no worries. Right, so is there anyone else in the green room before I introduce the topic for tonight? Good evening, Lolly. How are you?
Oh, hello. I'm good, thank you.
Hi, good to see you. Good to see you. Anyone else in the green room there before I go on? No. Okay. So tonight's topic was brought about because there was a viral video going around, and of a couple who were having a conversation in regards to marriage and sex. Now, this show is not all about sex, but because we have been covering this topic over a long period of time, I thought, let me just end it. Well, kind of. Ooh, I'm hearing some feedback.
Sorry, that was me. I've just switched it off.
Okay, lovely. Thank you. So it is pressured into marriage only to be denied sex. And that is the topic for tonight. See, Tony's got a little bit of a smirk on his face. He's ready. He's ready for this one. So, pressured into marriage only to be denied sex. Now, we're going to be talking about this evening. We're going to be talking about it from a married perspective and a single perspective. And guys, I just want you to give your opinions. I want you to be open. I want you to be honest. And let's really have an open and frank conversation, because we know that this show in particular started at the beginning of the first lockdown. And it was with the basis of many of us being single. What are we going to do? How are we going to date? How are we going to meet people if we're locked down? Now we're locked down again. This is the second time, and they're saying it's till the beginning of December. However, we do know this much, that people have been furloughed till March. So really and truly, it don't take a brain surgeon to work out that we're probably going to go into continuing this lockdown for some time further on into the new year. So I don't want to make anyone depressed, but that's facts and that's how it is. And so we're going to make the most of it. And we're going to have some really good, open, hardcore, spicy conversations. So I'm leaving all my paperwork. So without further ado, I'm going to open up the chat and see. Now, I don't know if we managed to get the recording of the conversation. I think we're having a few technical issues, but if we do get that, we will play it. Now, I'm hoping that everybody has seen the recording, so I did post it out. So everyone's got an idea of what has been said. So I'm going to ask one of the males to just describe what this is about from the male perspective, and then we'll come in with the female perspective, and then we can go into the conversation, just so that the audience that's listening out has an idea of what we're talking about. So I'm going to go to Tony, because I know Tony knows about this recording in particular, and Herbie, come in and add wherever you see fit. Hi, Tony.
Hey, how you doing? So, am I right in saying it's the video with DeVale?
Yes.
Right. So he basically has a conversation with his wife, explaining that his sexual desires have not dampened through the period of their marriage, but his wife's have. And that he feels that had he known that her libido would lessen, and this is after kids, remember, that might have been a slightly different thought process for him into entering into marriage. These guys are basically making a lot of money off of raising subjects that, in some cases, they don't actually believe in what they're saying. So I don't actually believe it's like he's saying it on the basis that, oh, why didn't you tell me that your libido was going to go down? I wouldn't have married you. I think this has happened in our life. I wish I had known before we started, but it wouldn't have changed my mind. I still love you, and I would have still married you and still had the kids. But it's just the subject that, a woman's libido could go down, or in that particular scenario, that woman's libido went down. Now, obviously, from my perspective, I'm perfectly understanding that that's a generalization. There are women whose libidos don't go down, and there are men's capabilities as they get older that reduce. So hence the reason why men in their senior years will end up taking things like Viagra to continue their sex life. But it's an interesting conversation. My take, and let me get this, let me make this point. I posted that video onto my YouTube. I've never had as much traction from one video on my YouTube channel as that one video. In fact, it came in 2 parts, and the 2 parts have had in excess of 500 comments each. And that's a lot of traffic from my YouTube channel. So it's very interesting that people look at it in different ways. But my takeaway is it can happen to both parties. I've experienced it with my partner, her libido going down over time after children. At my years, I believe my sex drive is just as high as it was, maybe in my 30s. But that's just part of life, I just believe it to be something that happens to people with their physical capabilities. Listen, I wish I could still run 100 meters in 13 seconds. It just ain't gonna happen. I wish I could box for 15 rounds. It ain't gonna happen. It's just one of those things. I wish I still had a 6-pack like I did when I was 18. It just ain't gonna happen. And so I think with age, you kind of get to understand that, you know what, I have to accept that life is going to change for me, and it might change for my partner. And this is one of the realizations that I think I've made on the show many a time. What you were like in your 20s is different to what you're like in your 30s to what you're going to be like in your 40s and your 50s. each decade of your life changes, and as a result, you can grow with the person you're with, or you might grow apart, which is what happened with me and my last marriage, which was 16 years together. We grew apart, and that's just life.
Thank you,
Okay.
Tony.
Mhm.
Thank you, Herbie. Do you want to come in?
Yeah, I watched it. It was quite interesting. I agree with Tony saying this. I mean, bringing up something like that it's really just it could be anything. You know, you're married, you've had children, and anything could happen why you can't have sex, or you know, what I mean, or you know, causes a decline in your sexual intercourse. I don't know how much time he's having sex or whatever. I don't know his frequency or whatever. But it sounded like the way it sounded like he was on her all the time, and I'm saying to myself, well, you need to kind of ease up in my mind, because you were saying that you didn't sign up to this. It's like it's really unfair. You know, I mean, it's really unfair, and no one would have known. You can't get married and thinking 10 years down the line, if it's 10 years, that things are going to go the way they are, and say, well, you know something. But if you told me this, if you told me this would happen, then I would have had a different, you know what I mean, view on it. But she also said as well, she said, like, I don't even know, maybe if I knew, then I would have, you know what I mean, had a different choice in the matter. But no one knew. So I think it's quite unfair and quite unreasonable for him to say what he's saying. And I don't know. I think really, I was a bit disappointed on the men's side. You know what I mean? To sort of say, listen, come on. You know what I mean? You sound a bit selfish, and you need to kind of look at life at a bigger picture.
I think the thing that you got to remember, Herbie, is with this couple, they make their living off of. I mean, he's a millionaire. He's an ex-American football professional.
Right.
So
Okay.
he's made a lot of money. He's got money. But between the two of them, they have a very successful YouTube show.
Right.
And they broadcast every week. And some of their stuff is amazing. It's great. It's so good to see a black man and a black woman who have got beautiful children, and they do all these wonderful things. But occasionally they come out and they have like a Will Smith kind of, Jada Pinkett Smith kind of Red Table Talks kind of session where they get really serious. And this was one such occasion. And I think he kind of just said it to stir conversation, as opposed to being, like, oh, I don't want to be with you anymore. Because I've watched loads of their videos since, and they're very much in love. They're very much a couple that are enjoying their life and enjoying their fandom and their luxury. Because they got a lovely house, beautiful house, and a beautiful family. But they just want to get attraction. And this subject created such a stir for them. So I think some people just say stuff because they know it will cause a reaction online. And this was one such occasion.
Okay, thanks, guys. I am hearing about this and from your perspectives. I think we can take away the fact that they are a well-known couple. They run a YouTube channel and all of that, and it's a bit of hype, and they're talking about subjects. I think we need to look at this because this is how some men feel in reality. Regardless of why they do it, this is how some men feel, and this is what some men say. So this is why we're discussing it today. And I didn't get I didn't feel like there was anything wrong in their marriage whatsoever. But I also felt that there was something there. There was an underlying tone there for him on how he feels in terms of having the amount of sex that he's having in his relationship. So I think it's something that we do need to talk about, whether we are married or whether we are in relationships or want to get into a relationship. These are things that we should be discussing, especially as we are getting younger in age. All of us on this panel are over a certain age, and I think that we have to start thinking a bit differently, because what does happen is that when we go into relationships, we still have the old mental mindset that we are 20 years younger than what we are, and we're not. Things have changed. So from the female perspective, do any of the females want to come in and give their perspective from that recording? I'm hoping our engineer in the background, I have sent you the video again via YouTube. So if you could see if you could split it in two, and so that we could upload it so that those who are listening and watching can have an idea of what we're talking about. Thank you very much. So ladies, are any of you able to come in? Okay, whoever.
I don't know. I think with me, when it comes to my libido or sex life, I am more likely to think like a man than act like a lady, because I have been in a long-term relationship, and I'm the complainer. I'm the one that doesn't understand why are we not at it like rabbits, like we were 2, 3, 4 years ago. To me, I kind of agreed with Deval a lot. So I wouldn't leave someone, but we'll definitely be having conversations if it's not going to be as regular or up to the standard that I require.
Okay. Sheena, do you want to come in? Then I'm going to bring in Theo.
That's very honest of you, Lily.
I've said it many times on other shows.
Yeah, I mean, it's just, I don't know what to say on that, actually. Other than for me, yeah, I mean, obviously, when you get older.
Sheena, sorry to cut you. You might need to put your headphones on because you're Dalek-ing.
Can I just say quickly while she's getting her headphones? You have to also remember that I've just seen in the comments that someone wrote that he cheated, and yes, he did cheat on his wife. And a lot of people who cheat, I'm not going to say men because we all do it, not all individually. I mean, men and women, both cheaters. Sometimes lack of sex is one of the main reasons why they do it in the first place. I've done it in my early years when I was younger. I cheated, and that was why, because I wasn't getting what I wanted at home. So I don't see what's anything wrong with pulling your partner up, because I wouldn't cheat now. Now I would pull them up and tell them, look, things na go on. And when I'm all in, I don't notice another man. But if I start noticing, well, look, pan him bottom or whatever, then something's wrong with our relationship, because my eye's starting to wander.
Okay, thank you for your honesty. Theo, while Sheena's sorting her mic out, her headphones out. Good evening, Theo.
Good evening, how are you? Good evening, everybody.
Good evening, Theo.
Blessings,
Long time.
So what's your thoughts on this, Theo?
I thought it was actually a good, I know about the couple, but I thought it was actually a good topic that they brought up. As you said earlier, it's something that it works both ways in relationships. A discussion that people have with their friends. They might not necessarily have it with their partners. Guys might mention it amongst their friends, that when you know, it's like a joke before a guy gets married. That's the end of your sex life and stuff like that. They will say, you know, that's like a joke on The Bachelor now. Oh, that's it now. You're under the ball and chain. That's it. No more sex for you once a week, whatever it may be. And I think the ladies might say the same thing. I'm not too sure. But in terms of guys, so I can understand where the young man was coming from. That it does happen, and it's a discussion that needs to be, especially as we're talking about relationships and people looking to have long-term relationships, to discuss, you know, your sex drive and how often you might want sex. It might not actually materialize that way, but your intentions is, okay, I want it 4 times a week, 5 times a week, whatever it may be. It might not be that way, but at least the person knows in advance that's what you're looking for, instead of going into it thinking, okay, once a week, twice a week, and then it becomes a problem later on. So I think it was a good discussion that they had.
Thank you for your input.
The bit that I liked, though, was the bit at the start when you said that you felt pressured into the marriage. That's the bit I kind of focused on more than the actual discussion, was the bit that he felt pressured and she didn't want to own up to the pressure.
But
You
she
said-
did.
Right. Okay, we're gonna touch on that. Go on.
Okay,
Yeah.
so,
Yeah, we're
so
going
we can
to
talk
touch
about that later on then. But yeah,
Yeah.
that's
Yeah,
the bit I picked up
that
on as
part
well.
was interesting. Yeah.
Yeah, that's the bit I was trying to focus on. The sex bit is important that they have the discussion before you go into marriage. But at 26, you're not going to know how you're going to feel at 36. So
Mhm.
it's hard for her to say, oh, 10 years down the line, I'm going to feel this way after having children. If you never had children before, you don't know how your body's going to react. So
Yeah. Yeah.
So yeah, but if I just thought it was an interesting discussion that they had, and that's why you got so much traction, Tony, because it's a topic that everybody talks about. Guys, as you know, we all talk about it. Females most really talk about it. So yeah, it's very interesting. But if you're going to talk about the pressure later, we could talk about that bit. But yeah,
We're going to talk about it. Oh yes, we are. Sheena, do you want to come in?
Yeah. I thought it was a really interesting conversation as well, to be honest. Yeah, it's quite that was really interesting. Yeah, I can't wait to talk about the pressure side of things. The pressure, because I don't quite understand the side of the pressure, but we'll get there. We'll get to that one. But yeah, for me, at the end of the day, you know, it's important to talk about where you are in terms of sex and, you know, intimacy. But when you change, when you're in a long-term relationship, you know, all that changes. You know, so for me, I might not be having sex as much as I used to when I was younger, because maybe it's become a body can't take it like how it used to take it. But when I do have sex, I enjoy it fully.
Okay. Well, I want to know, are we any, I just want to know if we're any closer to getting that video played, but I'm hoping that we will get to that video shortly, just so that guys can have some insight into exactly what we are talking about. So I think the first part of the conversation that the young man was having was about why is it that women want men to be monogamous and just have sex with them when they can't, when the man is on them all the time, they go on like they don't want it. And I think let's take this in bite-sized chunks and let's do it this way. And so I started to think about what he was saying, and I, you know, and reflect back on my own life. And I got married at 19, so I was very young when I got married, very, very young. And so my sex life when I was 19 is a lot different to what it is now, right? And that's not whether there's a partner there or not. I feel differently about sex. So when I was younger, I would say I was probably a little bit more reserved than what I am now. I think, you know, as women, and I will say this, as women, our sexual peak is later in life. It's not in our 20s. We enjoy sex at 20, but as we get older and we go into our late 30s, early 40s, even in our 50s, that's when we peak. Whereas men peak when they are younger, and that is a physical fact of life. And so, but also in amongst all of that, women have and men have hormones. Now, women are known to have more peaks and troughs in their hormones than men. So this is also something that needs to be taken into the picture. So this young man is saying, well, why is it that women, and at first I felt uncomfortable with what he was saying, because I thought, well, this is a huge generalization. Not all women's libidos go down after they get married, or whether they're in a long-term relationship. I've been in a long-term relationship and had to put question to the man too. What's going on? Hello, wagwan. Because something's missing. It's not happening. So what's going on? So you know, we have to bear in mind. It's a great topic, but we do have to bear in mind of the generalization, and that's one thing I'm going to say to the panel tonight. Try your hardest, do not bother generalize, right? And maybe speak from your own perspective, because that's the only thing that we have. We have to speak from our own point of view. So when he said that, I just thought, well, what are you actually trying to put across? Is it that all women, you know, once they get in a long-term relationship, they're just, oh, the man's on me, the man's on me, the man's on me? But has it occurred to anybody that when this man is on this woman, it might not be the right time? It might be that she's on her monthly period and the man's on her and she's like saying no. It might be that something else, they might be out, they might have to do something, she might be busy, he might be busy, whatever. It, you know, because sometimes in relationships, because I've had this personally, this in my own experience, a man's on me and the timing is not right. It's off. And because it's off, he feels rejected, but actually, we can't do it now. So I just want to bring it in. I'm going to bring in Theo here. And Theo, can you relate to what I'm saying or not?
To a point. I don't know when he's trying to jump on. I don't know when he's trying to jump on his wife or anything. But if it's at night time and they're in bed, that tends to be a good. That tends to be a good time to try a thing. It should be a good time to try a thing, but I don't know. It should be, but if he's out and about, then maybe not the right time. And if she's on a monthly, as a partner, like, you should know roughly when the monthlies are coming. They're pretty much, you know, standardized monthly, same time of the month. And if not, then there's a problem. Then you start getting in the corner and carrying and praying and saying, Lord, please, not another one. But that's in my case. That's just in my case anyway. I don't know about anybody else. That's just me. Start shaking if it's not right. So I don't know. They're right about the men and the libido, but I think it works both ways. You know, guys, their drive goes down, women drive goes down. And sex it's important. Don't get me wrong, it's very important in a relationship, because the minute that starts to go, the relationship's on the decline straight away. As Lolly said, you start looking outside. So I think it works on both ways, but it's about having an understanding with your partner, isn't it? It's about having an understanding and realizing it's not going to be every night. Nothing. You can't maintain anything like that. Even if you're 20 and you think, oh, it's going to be like this forever. That's why you see those relationships, those celebrities, after 3 months of intense relationship, they kind of fizzle out because they can't maintain that pace. Mm-hmm. It's not possible. So as you're in a relationship for a long period of time, you know, it's not going to be every night. You might have the intentions, you might have all the chat, and then you go in the bed and you lie down and you fall asleep.
Oh, you get dumped.
You're just tired. You're just like, oh my gosh, you know, you don't realize you was tired. The whole big chat throughout the day, watch later on, all this, and then come bedtime. And don't let me lie down for 2 minutes too long in the bed. I'm sleeping. So that's a gimme. So that's just anybody. So yeah, I think it just works both ways. And of course, women are much more, as they get older and the menopausal starts to kick in. I think was this the DJ something and the pause or something. I don't know what he wrote in there, but
is that the DJ Super Me?
Yeah.
Is he here?
Yeah, he's in there. So yeah, so women get more menopausal. Everybody, and then I think men have some sort of menopause as well, but I don't know what it's called. Tony can help me out. He's the doctor, so I don't know. There must be a book in that collection that kind of can say. I think men. I think, as you said, our drive goes down. I don't know which man's gonna say his drive is the same as when he was 21 or something like that, because that's not possible, man. Because me at 21 and me at 47 is a whole two different guys.
Mm-hmm. Absolutely. Thank you for your input. Can we just have that message back up again? There was from Pierre, I think it is, right. So it says, I think the problem with the man being on the woman is when the man stops paying attention to his woman, she starts feeling rejected. And when this happens, a lot of the men start to look elsewhere, not saying it's right, but it's understandable why these things happen. Any length? Go on. Whoever wants to come in.
I was going to say, I don't think it's just that. Sometimes a lot of women tend to stop trying. Like, you know, I've got friends, like we talked about the lingerie after last week's show, mm-hmm. that don't no longer own any sexy lingerie. They're just wearing their big old baggy underwear. I'm like, and you're wondering why your man's not on you. Like, fix up. You need to go and get something and get some lace or whatever. So
I don't think
things-
that's necessarily true, though, Lorraine. I don't think it's all about.
fine, you go to bed with a do-rag on every night and curlers in your hair with your big
that's
baggy nippers.
That's extreme.
Sheena,
Okay.
Sheena, try
Yeah.
take your headphones out for us and let's see if it's any better for you. Oh, I know. It's your connection. I just heard it. Yeah, that's what it is. But it's see,
Is that still bad? Is that all right now?
no.
No.
Take it out. Take it out and let's go without it because it's crusty sounding.
Can you hear me now?
Yeah, it's slightly better. Okay, so the DJ Super Me said the male equivalent is called andropause.
Oh,
That's what he says. It's called. But you know, I want to pick up on what Lorraine said about, you know, the whole making an effort and blah blah blah. Because one of the things that last week brought up was the fact that a lot of women felt that they make the effort, but men are not making the effort. And so if they're feeling like that, after a while, they're going to stop, right? If they're making the effort constantly, because should it just be down to the woman to wear lingerie to make it spicy in the bedroom? I don't think it is, because there are some men who will go to their bed. Nobody that I know. I'm not talking about myself now. Let me just make that clear, Tony. I'm not talking about my experience. But there are some men who will just come in from work and be lounging and they will go to their bed with their same all-day body. Right? Their all-day funk and brass and bring it into the bedroom and expect my girl to be jumping on him. That
Or
can't
coming-
work.
We're coming from a party.
Or coming from a party.
In the bed.
Yeah, jump straight in, you know.
Some women also like that funk, believe it or not.
It's a fetish. I do know.
It is.
I know about the fetish, but we're
Yeah.
not talking about fetish. We're talking
Yeah.
about everyday people.
No, it is. There's a lot of women like the funk. They like the manly smell. It's a bit like, do you like a man with bare chest or do you like the hair all over it? Do you like a man with a beard or do you prefer the clean shaven? Each to his own.
Mm-hmm. But if that's what I'm saying is, if that's your preference, that's one thing. But if it's not your preference and you're in a partnership and you're saying to you want things with your partner wants things with you, and that is the stumbling block. Something's got to give.
Yeah, but that's just a simple communication thing. That to me is one of them things that you just say, my boy, hold it fresh, done.
Yeah,
Basics.
absolutely. I'm with you 100%. But you know, should you have to say? It's like saying to the woman, hold on. It's like when the man is saying to the woman, take off your headscarf. He shouldn't have to say that. He
Of course
shouldn't.
he should.
He should. Why?
Because we talked about this weeks ago. Communication is key in a relationship.
Of course
You
it
must
is.
not get into the habit of expecting things. You must communicate what you feel. Yeah, we talked about this. We had the sex coach came on and said,
yes.
if you want to finger up your ass, say, can you put a finger up my ass?
Yes.
Yeah?
Yes.
Right.
Yes.
So don't go around it and say, oh, I wish he'd do that, but he won't.
No,
do
but
that.
no one's not saying that,
It's
Tony.
all
That's
about
not what we're
communication, Yvonne.
saying. That's
If you
not
don't-
what I'm
if-
saying.
If your man is not fresh and you want to do something, say, babes, listen, I want a little thing tonight. Could you go to Solar Fresh? Simple. I'm in that bar quick time.
Tony,
Tony,
can I ask you something? Do you have to wait for a woman to tell you that you need to hold a fresh?
that's my point. You shouldn't need to be
They're
told.
telling me that you would actually, a woman should tell you when you should hold a fresh. Do you not think that's embarrassing?
That's between me and my woman, Sheena. That's nothing to do with you.
No, but you're on this
My
show.
woman do is
It's
our
nothing to do
business.
with me. You're having a-
We could go
No.
a whole week without a fresh.
No, that was just
That's what we
rude.
choose.
One at a time. One at a time.
Yeah.
One at a time.
I never asked you nothing like I'm up in your business. I asked you a question. For me,
Me and
my
my
man
woman
hold
decide not to hold a fresh.
because you're going to come correct there. So let me say what I have to say. Right, at the end of the day, my man should have to take off no head scarf, or no stocking foot, or no bed socks, or whole of thread. That should be, you should be able to conduct your business and know that you're going to come to man now. Nobody should be telling you what to do. You should have sorted that and corrected that. You should be waiting on, oh darling, could you go and have a wash? Oh, could you take off your headscarf? A load of rubbish that.
I think Sheena's saying that's a load of rubbish. I'm good. Right, we're going to bring
ahead,
Theo
Theo.
in. Theo's got his hands up. Sheena, you're breaking up a little bit. Theo, come in.
Women, people go to bed as routine. Yeah, you go to bed, you get ready for bed, you go into bed. So the guy might have a shower, might not have a shower. The woman will put on a stocking foot, whatever she puts on her head, as normal. Yeah, and more time the guy's cool with it. But if he doesn't want it to have it on, he's gonna have to tell her to take it off, right?
Boom.
You can't expect her to take it off because that's what she normally does.
Exactly.
And if the man doesn't normally shower before he goes to bed, but you want him to shower, then you have to tell him because he doesn't normally do it. If that's not his normal routine, you can't just say, oh, he should know, because he doesn't do it anyway. Because you never told him last night to do it.
Hold on a minute. Theo.
Tonight he's saying, you know what? I want freshness. Then you have to say, you can't just expect. You got to. It's a communication thing. You have to say.
So
if my wife's got a scarf on her head and I don't want her to have it on, and she normally has it on, I've got to tell her take it off.
Yeah.
She's not going to just take it off because I know I want it off.
Right, let me just come in there.
Ask and it shall be given.
Because, right, let's make this clear. Because I use an example about a man bathing, right?
Mm-hmm.
So this, and you've taken it that this is not his normal thing. I said there are some men who will do that and then will just go to bed and want sex. Women don't want that. Of course, she has to communicate with this, but we're taking this from the viewpoint because we're taking it from the viewpoint from this couple. They're in a relationship. So in the relationship, this is not a new relationship. If we're talking about a new relationship, that's slightly different. This is not a new relationship. You know, you get to know your partner's habits, and you're right. If you've been in a long term and the lady's put a headscarf on her head, then you may want to say to her, can you take that off tonight? That may be the thing. But what I'm saying is, in terms of if you're going out and you're coming in and you want it, because what the man has said is she's like, he's on me. If he's been out, for instance, and like I said, I can only say it from my own perspective. We're out, we're going out, we're having a good time, we get home. The first place I'm going, and this is just me, and any man that's with me will know this because it's a habit. I'm going to the bathroom. I'm going to hold her fresh because I'm not going to my bed with yesterday on my skin. Do you understand? So, and if I'm going to now go to bed fresh and he's coming with yesterday on his skin, that's not going to work. But through the relationship, he would get to know that.
Exactly.
Yeah? Right. He would get to know that. So we are on the same page. We are, but we are taking things, I think, a little bit out of context. The headscarf again, but also when you think, I know when I as a woman, I know when I'm up for it, right? Any woman knows when she feeling a little something. She feeling a little spicy in her bone. She knows I'm not going to bed with no headscarf on my head. I'm just not doing it because I know what my intention is, right?
And can I say, my friend Victor has texted me. He says, in that scenario, all you have to do is say, babe, I'm going in the shower. Come on in. Yeah?
Absolutely.
We all know what goes on in the shower. Boom.
Absolutely.
But
why?
Yvonne, you're talking. That's a pre-plan. So what happens when you're just in the bed?
When I'm in it,
you've really
we've gone to bed. If we're in the bed and you know you feel the hand on the tie or whatever, then
flinging off that do-rag.
I'm flinging it off, mate.
Yeah, you don't need to be told to take it off.
No, because
some women don't.
Because
some people keep it on.
No,
it's up to them, isn't it?
No. I don't need the heat on my head. Right?
I don't need.
I'm taking it off. I'm taking it all off. right? But these are the things that, yes, you shouldn't take for granted. But at the same time, if you know your partner, you know how your partner works. So if I'm vexed and you're coming in the bed and I've got the headscarf on and I'm vexed, that headscarf's not coming off. So you don't know. The shop is shut tonight.
All right, we can work around that. We can work around that, man.
No, there's no working around it. The shop
We
is
can work
shut.
around it, man.
The shop
If
is
you know your
shut,
party,
Theo.
you know what buttons to press, man.
No,
You know the phone number to dial.
listen, the numbers on the intercom has said locked. It's not happening.
Right, there's a key for every intercom, man. There's a key for every intercom.
There is, and there is, but it locked anyway.
Alison, yes, you
go
can
on.
just take it off. Sorry, Alison said,
And don't forget, guys.
Of course you can take it off.
And yeah, the other thing I'm going to mention, guys, is you lot are forgetting that sometimes you wake up in the middle of the night and you got an urge. Yeah, ain't me not business why you're up from the night before. If I've got the urge in the middle of the night and you're ready to receive that urge, we are going to do it. I'm not going to say, oh, babe, can you go and shower? I know it's 4 o'clock in the
You're
morning,
taking it
but
out of
can
context.
You would have
go
showered
anyway?
before you got in the bed.
In bed, hello.
Yeah.
You're taking it out of
You would have
context.
showered before you went in the bed. It's part of the routine of going to bed, she's saying.
Mhm.
Absolutely. Thank you for the
Right.
clarification
And if
there.
a man is not washing, he needs to wash, man. Come on, man.
Come on.
The adults now, man. You need to wash yourself, man. Come on.
Get the washing thing. That's another subject.
Sweaty
Isn't it?
balls is not the run, man. Sweaty balls is not the run, man.
For real, you said it. You took the words out of my
Maybe
mouth.
afterwards, but not before.
Sweaty
man. Come
balls
on.
is not the one. And then you cheeky, you asking people to put their mouth on that. You're mad. Anyway. Did I say that out loud? Oh shit.
Oh, Lord.
Speak it true.
You can clear off, mate. Oh. Anyway.
Oh, thanks, DJ. That thing, the under pause. I didn't ever heard that before. That was a good one as well.
Yeah, so thank you for that information, Andapur. Actually, we might need to have a look that up and see what the symptoms are for male menopause. That would be quite interesting to know. So he was saying that, you know, women are like, oh, he's up on me, and they don't want that. I mean, I know that both Herbie and Theo are in long-term marriage, and also so is Sheena. So, and we've all had relationships, be short or long. I think we've all had those relationships. So my thing is, how frustrating is it? And is it a matter of being rejected? So if you are saying, say for instance, you're going to your partner and you want a little something, and they're like, oh, no. Is it that makes you feel rejected? Or is it that, you know, it's a timing thing? How does it make a man feel? You personally, you can't generalize for every man, but
I feel it depends, you know, because sometimes you have to. The timing might not be right, yeah, and sometimes I would say sometimes a selfish thing, you know, because you want it, and sometimes you're not too concerned about whether you know that your partner wants it or not. It's like, I want it and that's it, whether you want it or not. I'm not too concerned, which I would class as selfish, because you just want to satisfy yourself. You don't want to, you know what I mean? Yes, you feel a little bit, you don't feel rejected, but I would more want to know, like, why, what's going on, you know what I mean? And normally there's a reason. It's not that we don't want to make love or don't, you know what I mean, don't feel attracted to each other. It's just that sometimes it's just, you know what I mean, not in the mood, something on your mind, it's just not the right time. And I can quite easily now, it took me a little while, I can easily now recover from that. You know what I mean? It's just like, okay, you know something, tomorrow's another day. You know what I mean? And just leave it as that. I don't really get heated up. Used to, you know what I mean? Frustrated, upset, can't sleep, everything, you know what I mean? But you know what I mean? It doesn't help. It doesn't help. So it's a lot of self-control as well. You know what I mean? Some people met the body control them, you know. You must you control the thing. You know what I mean? So we tell him tell him no. Yeah. After a while, they understand that you're in control. So it's not tonight. So you can stand up there looking at my face, but nothing's happening. You know what I mean? So
You can stand up there. Yes, you can.
See, I mean, the other thing that if I can just drop this bit in is, you spent the last 3 weeks talking about lingerie and sex toys. Well, women have that at their disposal. So if a woman's feeling like, you know what, I feel a little bit, you know, like I need a bit, and the man isn't there, guess what she's going to do? The toys are there for a reason.
Absolutely.
So just think about the reverse. A man can do himself, you know. A man will happily go, you know what, she's not ready. Let me go and do a little something.
Yeah. I agree. I agree with you there.
That's an option to some men. If they have to, and it's like I'm desperate, and you know what I mean, then that's an option that they have.
Yeah. You can't, you know, it's not a free for all. If you don't feel it, you don't feel it, you know. And you're right, Tony. We have sex toys at our disposal. Men have, you know, Hannah and her 5 friends, you know, to do. Theo's shaking his head like, nah, that's not an option. But you know, there are other ways of, and we have been talking about sex toys and lingerie and all of these things to entice and excite our partners into like this frenzy of this sexual frenzy, you know, to get the blood going and, you know, to have this emotional connected time. But then that leads me to ask the question, is our relationships based upon sex purely? Because Lorraine said something that if earlier on, if you're not getting enough attention, she'll look elsewhere. But why should that be the case? Because you're not getting the attention.
No, I didn't say I would look elsewhere. I said I have done in the past. But
yeah.
I can understand that's why some people do. Because it's not, that's if you start looking somewhere else, it's not the only reason. That's not the only reason. It's
right.
one of the reasons.
Yeah, because that's what I was going to bring up. Is that the only reason why you would look out? Because I don't think that is the only reason at all. I think there's multiple reasons why people look out, and because they can be having sex all the time and the partner still has an affair.
Yeah, that's true.
Yeah. Mm.
But is it that same like ironing board sex? Or,
no.
You know, so this is the thing that the lady who did the video that I posted in the group was saying. Sometimes a man, say like, when I was in my 20s, you want to throw the girl everywhere. You want to dash her on the stairs, you want to dash her on the wall, you want to go out in the garden, you want to go out in the swimming pool. Anywhere and everywhere gets a little looking when it comes to sex. Yeah? All that adventure, all of that play, as my friend Dunstan is saying, you know, sanitized sex is not a thing in your 20s. You know, you don't care about the body smell. You just want to have sex. You know, you're out with a partner and you're like, babe, I'm really feeling it. Let's get in the back of the car. And you're halfway home. You know, that was a day, that was a time. But when you get older, yeah, certainly you get more sanitized sex where you have to hold her fresh and do this and douche and all that kind of malarkey. But when you're young, you're just free. You do it anytime. You don't care. If you got a funk, you got a funk. You just get on with it. You know? I just feel like it's an age thing that, you know what, in your 20s, you probably throw down all over the place and you satisfy your man in a whole bunch of ways and he's so adventurous. When you're 30, you're not really all that adventurous. You've been there, done that. You don't have to do it all the time. It's nice to have it occasionally. 40s and 50s, you definitely ain't chucking things off a fence and all that kind of stuff. But you still might have a good sex drive. Yeah? You're still gonna get in 6-7 different positions in a night, but it's just not dashing it off of chandeliers and stuff.
Tony, you do make me laugh, you know.
I live the life, babe. I know.
You do make me laugh. You do.
I was young once. I'm not pretending. I used to dash gal off ceiling and things. Yeah.
Okay, well, I think we were all young once, and some of us are still young. Mm. So, yeah, but the chandeliers. Anyway, so, but I hear what your point. I do want to go to some of the comments though that's coming through. Can we go back? Let's go to Pierre's. Pierre made a comment. If we can go back to the, Pierre's comment, that would be great, and then we can take it from there. Oh, can we see Pierre's comment? He said something. Sex toys are not for me, as I feel if I can't satisfy the woman, then there's a problem. Okay. My answer to that is it's not. You're not in competition with a sex toy. It's a toy to play. It's not about you. Don't take it personally. It's about having fun. So yeah, try and hatch, anyway, if it's not for you, it's not for you, but I'm just saying it's not about you. Dean Bailey, partners should be the best of friends and have mostly a spiritual connection more than a physical connection first. Does anybody want to come in with that? Does anyone want to respond to that one?
I agree with that. Just in terms of, you don't know what life can bring. You know what I mean? People, have all sort of illnesses and whatever, and it just. I mean, you're fortunate if your wife's sex drive just lowers. You know what I mean? It could be a lot worse. You know what I mean? So sometimes I look at life on a whole and say, something. If I'm getting something, and it's good quality stuff, then I'm good. You know what I mean? I'm good because I could have nothing. So yeah.
Well, that's very true. You could have nothing at all. So count yourself lucky. Not really.
Count yourself lucky.
You could have.
And the thing is, you know what I mean? All my marriage life, you know what I mean? I said, I've got credit, man. You know what I mean? So I'm good, you know what I mean? I've worked up some credit, so I can just run on the credits. So I'm good.
You're busting lyrics today. I like that, Herbie. On credit. Yes. And that's about keeping the spice alive as well. Because I know Herbie and Michelle, and some things that I've been in conversation, some of the craziness. But I'm like, this is how you maintain a relationship for 30 odd years. This is how you do it. So you've been in a relationship for I think you've been together 37 to married 34 or something like that.
Yeah.
And so you have to have some level of understanding. That's a lifetime. That's from child to adulthood. You two have literally grown together, which the two people that we're talking about who had this conversation, they got married from the age of, I think they were 26, 27. They said that they got married. And so, but then she also carried on to say that she didn't know that her at 26 is completely different to her at 36. And so she didn't know that she would feel the way that she feels. She didn't know that her body would change the way it's changed. And they've had children, which is a big factor, And I don't know if Sheena wants to share, a story that she was sharing with me earlier on today. But, when a woman has a child, the body need time for recuperate and shove back into where it was. It's been expanded.
Oh, that story.
Yeah, it's been expanding over a period of 9 months. And so, and there are certain men who have no understanding. There is, most women have to wait 6 weeks after childbirth before anything can go on. But some men don't want to wait.
When I was in hospital, guys, with my
last son, there was this couple next to me. So the woman, she just had her baby. Literally, they just put her on the ward. And, her husband was climbing on top of her to have sex with her after she'd just given birth and she's in pain. She's there. All you could do was, ow, ow, ah, ah, right?
Huh?
Me being me now, I had to pull the curtain over and ask him what the hell he was playing at. She's
Right.
just had a baby. What are you doing? So I had to raise Mary Helen there. So they had to get security and everything to get him out. What the problem was, they were Bangladeshi. She gave birth to a little girl, and he wanted to try again so they could have a boy. So he was on her. Trust me. If you know the pain, my brothers, the pain of childbirth and what it does to you down there, to then have the man come on you again to do that, that is serious. That's not on.
Disrespect. Yeah.
That's
Disrespect.
assault, isn't it?
That's what
Yeah,
That's
that
an
is assault.
man. That's assault, man.
Yeah.
But it's a
But
disrespect.
is it cultural? Is it cultural?
No,
She
stop. The
just
man
had a
just out
baby
of order,
for
man.
me.
It
It shouldn't really
sounds all
matter.
It sounds all wrong.
It,
But
I don't think it's. I don't think,
I don't
it's
think that's
cultural.
cultural, man.
It's
I
not
don't
That's
think.
cultural.
just
It's
wrong.
about
That's
what.
just you're
It's about
gonna
what
it
he
have,
wants.
you're
doesn't
gonna
sound
get what
it.
you
But
want out
I'm
of your
just
wife
asking
until
the
she gives you a
question.
boy. That's wrong.
That's assault, man. He should be
Of course
arrested
it
for
is.
that. No, he should be arrested for that.
Yeah.
Well,
For real.
security was cool, so they took him out. But
They're getting some licks as well.
I mean, you'd have to have somebody on the panel from the Bangladesh community to tell you what is and what isn't.
No, trust
cultural.
me, I have
Because
a
you-
whole,
you
I have a
That's
whole
not
heap of
cultural.
friends. I have a whole
That's
heap
not.
of friends in that
Me
arena
too.
there, and they
Me
will
too.
tell you
Okay.
categorically
It's not.
straight that is bare face abuse.
Yeah.
That's not.
It's,
That's
it's
not.
definitely sounds
That's not their way. That's not their way.
We got comments coming in. Cultural or not, that is disrespectful. We've got that's the DJ Super Me saying that's rape. Well, if it's not consensual,
Consensual.
that definitely is rape. But the reason why I
But
brought that up
clearly,
is
she
because
must have
these.
consented. Otherwise, she would have been kicking off in the hospital.
No, Tony, I think you misheard me when I first said it. I said I was in the hospital bed next to her. Yeah, she was making sounds like she was in pain. She said, "Ow, oh no, oh." She didn't
But
want
was
him
she-
on her.
she
She just
didn't
had a
know.
baby.
You
She just had a
pushed
baby,
out.
man.
Baby,
After
yeah.
you
Yeah.
pushed out
Just
a
had
big
a
old,
baby. Ah.
after
Imagine
you
Tony.
pushed out a big old person out down there,
Yeah.
you are not consenting a couple of days later. You are not.
Mm.
Listen, that's a
Don't
little
come out
isn't
touching
it? A
you
little
after that
person.
for a little while.
You're even scared to go toilet. Why are you going to let anything go in? You're scared of anything coming out.
Coming out. That's right. Can
Oh.
we go back to Candrine's comment? Candrine says, if we can go back to Candrine's comment, she said that's like rape and against her consent to it.
Yeah.
Right. And
For people,
yeah.
I just want to say, for some people who say that just because it's hurting or it's rape, it's not. It can't be cultural.
Careful now.
Don't forget that female genital mutilation is a cultural thing. Yet we consider it a crime.
Yeah.
We're not
And it's
talking
in
about
our
that,
community.
Tony.
It's in the black community that does it.
We're not talking about that.
But yeah, and I get
So that's
your
why I'm
point.
just saying.
I
Have
get
you
your
considered
point.
that something like is, sometimes things look really ugly, but they're cultural. Like in some parts of the world, having sex with a child of 13 is seen as just a standard. We see it as a crime and paedophilia, but in other parts of the world, that's their culture. So all I'm saying
So basically, what you're saying then that it was okay for her husband to do that in the hospital.
did the woman scream rape?
She did say the word rape, Tony, but she was in pain and she said "ow" and she said no. That's enough.
Clearly, it was going to
Say
hurt.
no.
But if she didn't want him to
No.
be on her, she should have shouted
No,
rape.
sorry, that's where me and you're gonna disagree. She said no. End of. And she just had a baby.
Go.
She just had a baby.
Technically, I just have to say that if a woman has not consented to sex, she does not have to use the word rape. She just has to say no. That
And
is
that's
it.
all it takes.
That is the prerequisite. From a woman says no, it's no. She don't have to use rape. She don't have to say help. She don't have to say anything else. All she has to say is no. And if she said no, then he for keep him little tail in him trousers. And it's as
Yeah,
simple
I mean,
as that.
so long as she said no, it's rape.
Yeah, she
Simple
said
as.
no. I was
Yeah,
there.
she
I had
said
to
no.
call him back and ask him what the hell he was playing at.
Mm,
I had to call security. I had to call the nurses, everybody, you know, because that was wrong.
yeah.
But again, whether it's a cultural thing or not, what we have to understand here is that once a woman has given has gone through childbirth, that is a trauma on her body. It might be yeah, you've got the baby and everything's great, but when you are going through that process, that is trauma, and that is something that needs to be understood by men. It's trauma. That there's you've got a small hole. You imagine, let me just put this in your minds, all the men, I want you to think about this, right?
You don't
When
need to.
you
You don't need to. You
no,
don't have
I'm
to
going
go
to
there.
I'm going
Yeah,
to I
you
want
do.
I want you to
I've
understand
got
this.
enough children.
No,
I
no,
know. I used to do I used to do antenatal class
Well,
for dads.
I'm just
It's
saying,
okay.
you
And the
that
thing breaks,
thing,
and that's
you
alright.
imagine that thing that you get so much pleasure in, right? You get pleasure inside that, and it takes time to maneuver in that. And the more you maneuver in that small space, you enjoy that more and more and more, right? So that's a pleasurable place for you. But when a child is coming out, that thing has to expand. That ain't no easy thing. That's not easy at all. Some women are snipped, some women have cesareans. It's not an easy thing. So therefore, you have to be mindful and learn to wait. Just because that's your wife, your girlfriend, your partner, whatever you want to put, title you want to put on, just because of that doesn't mean to say that you have the right. So going back to the topic, bringing it right back to topic, the lady said she didn't know she was going to feel the way that she does. She's had children and all of these things. These things have an impact on our sexuality, on our libido. And men need to understand that. For me, when I was watching that, I felt that the young man was very childish. Very, very childish and not really sensible. And so I understand why Tony said, it's a bit of a thing. They've got a YouTube channel and they're doing all that. I get that, because in the way in which he responded and he spoke, especially when he said that he felt that his wife pressured him in to marriage, I just thought, you're a punk.
Do you know what
That's
it is?
what I thought.
Yvonne, as well. They are actually a comedy act, the two of them.
Oh, are they? I don't know. I don't know them.
They are.
I don't know who they are.
Yeah, they mostly post stuff to get laughter as well. They might cover serious topics, but they put what they think is humor in it as well. So yeah, probably when you was watching that, you didn't realize.
No, I've only seen the clip. I don't know them. I don't know who they are.
Yeah.
I've not seen them. Don't know anything about them.
Okay.
I just took the clip and thought this is an interesting conversation, especially when he did say, as Theo said earlier, when he mentioned about when she said that she would like to be married within a year, he felt that was pressure.
Yeah.
I think if someone said that to me, I'd feel pressured.
That is pressure.
No, I don't see that as pressure.
I don't know. I mean, I listened to her argument when she sort of mentioned it. She was quite reasonable, because a lot of generalizing again, a lot of women are like that. They want some kind of idea of what's going on here, because some men we just gone forever, and they don't plan nothing. So they might say, "Listen,
true.
This is what I want, not what I'm going to get, but this is what I want." Let's just explain. I mean, we're here together. We've been around. Been together for a little while. We can probably get engaged in a 6 months, probably married in 2 years, and they come with some idea to sort of see where you're going with it. You know what I mean? And see what the man's saying, because some man might just say, "Well, no, I'm not for that. I'm looking 5 years," and she might say, "Well, listen, no, I have to find somebody else because I can't wait that long." So he must have kind of agreed to sort of that thing, not pressured, but he must have sort of agreed to sort of say.
Herbie, you just put the pressure there. The minute you said that you have to find somebody else, that's where the pressure comes in, isn't it?
Well,
that's the pressure.
That's just a fact.
Because
that's pressure.
That's pressure. Because if you said, if someone says to you, if this doesn't happen by such and such a time, then I'm going to look somewhere else.
Yeah.
And you're saying, I want this person, but I'm not actually ready yet to go down that line. But you're saying, I want it by then.
Yeah.
That's a pressure to that person. To you saying it, it's not a pressure. But the person receiving it's pressure.
It is a pressure. I would agree. Yeah.
But if you're receiving it,
what we want to do with it.
if someone said that to you, Yvonne, you're going to say it's not pressure. Someone says, okay, by next week, we want to be doing this, doing that. It's like a deadline, isn't it? You've got a deadline.
It's a deadline.
And so,
this is
like anything to deadline, you're going to feel pressure. As it gets closer to that time, you're going to be thinking,
it's a deadline.
Are they going to walk? Are they going to stay? So
it's a relationship, and I have been put in that position before. I have.
And
my
did you feel pressured?
My answer to that was, then you have to do what you have to do.
There you
because
go,
nobody can make you do anything you don't want to do.
No, what I'm trying to say, Yvonne, but the guy loves the woman, so he sees it. When a guy loves somebody and he said, "This is my woman. This is my woman," that's his woman. So whatever she wants, he's gonna do. Because that's his woman. He doesn't see her not being in his life. Look, they've been together 10 years, so that shows that he was serious.
No. But they weren't together 10 years prior to getting married.
No, they were together before, but they were living together for at least a year before they got married and stuff like that. Yeah,
that's what he said. They lived together for a year, and then Then she said she didn't want to be
engaged for longer than a year.
So then they got married. But then that's up to him to negotiate and say what he wants. I'm telling you that I've been in this situation before, and I didn't feel that's what you want. That's not my pressure. That's what you want. But I also have to think about what I want.
But
and then in that we come together and then we negotiate. So we then make a plan of what's going to happen. But just because somebody if somebody came and said to me, Yvonne, tomorrow, I want to marry you to next week. That's your business. It's not my business. Whether I love you or not, I've walked away from a marriage. I've walked away. So this is what I'm saying to you.
But Yvonne, that's, as I said, that's how you received it. But he's been with this woman. He's decided at 26, this is the woman for me. And she's giving him ultimatums. He's like, wow, okay. Am I going to get better than her? Am I going to leave? But that's the pressure that he felt. Some people might not take it as pressure. Some people might say, okay, bounce, see you later. Adios.
I think that's perception. I think it's perception. And your perception of what she's saying is far more than what she said. Because she even said that she's just saying, this is what I want.
That's what she's saying now. That's what she's saying now. 10 years ago, at 26, she would have been fiery, saying something completely different.
But you don't know that. You don't know that you weren't there, so you can't say that.
I know, but I'm just saying. But it's just the same with the sex. The reason why the conversation came up is about the same with the sex. 10 years ago, she was fiery and on it. 10 years later, she's not.
Well, she was very honest, and I can only take it from at face value. She was very honest when she said that if she, in hindsight, if she's now back in that place, she didn't know that she was going to be feeling the way that she felt. So she was honest about that. So I can only assume that she's been honest about her saying, I'm just giving you, this is what I want. I don't want to be in a relationship. And the thing is, this is one of the things that most coaches say, most therapists say in terms of relationships. If you are with somebody and you do not set your own boundary, you are going to be stuck in a relationship and it will go down a road that you don't want it to go down because you haven't articulated what you wanted. And it goes right back to communication. Because if you don't communicate what you want, and a lot of women will back me up here, because there's a lot of women who have been in relationships for 10 years plus and are still waiting for their partner to ask them to marry them. And the only reason why the partner hasn't asked is because she didn't require it. She never asked for it. She didn't say that's what she wanted. And so again, so you're nodding. So what I'm saying is, it's the same thing. She just said what she wanted.
Yeah, I understand. And he did it. He did it because he knew that's the woman that he wants. He said, "Okay, fine, let's do this.
Let's do it."
But then he's saying, "You want me to be exclusive?" But now he's saying, "Okay," because it's about being exclusive to her. And then now you're saying, it's not. It's every now and then you're going to give me sex or whatever it may be. I don't know the discussion that they had. So.
And that's what I didn't agree with him with that, because when you were saying, okay, so we agreed to the marriage thing, yeah, like you felt pressure to get married, got married, And I think that the pressure thing, I don't think at the time he was too worried about it. Yeah, because obviously he got married and he was
He was
getting what he
happy.
was getting. Everything was
He's
good.
getting what he's getting, yeah.
You know what I mean?
He was getting
Now
tapped
he's
out.
kind of gone a bit sour. Now he's kind of like, well, you know what I mean? You know, everything was good, and you pressure him into getting married and having this one partner thing, and now look where I am 10 years later. You know what I mean? I stuck with you, not getting that much.
Stuck.
You know what I mean?
Stuck with you.
Yeah, that's what it is. It's like you're saying. It's like I've signed up, I've made a commitment, and now like, yeah.
But aren't relationships in swings and troughs? Aren't relationships the fact that there are moments where you're on it,
Yep.
and it's like, and then there's a time when there's a little bit of a lull and nagua, and then again it's not always going to be
Yeah,
that.
and have I not
Good
said that for like
life.
months on months? I mean, basically with relationships, you know, what you're going to get every 10 years in a relationship is going to be so different from the previous 10. If anyone's married here or been in a relationship for 20 years, yeah, you'll know the 20th year is absolutely nothing like the first year. It doesn't even slightly resemble the first year. So you've got to understand. And someone wrote, Natural Mystic wrote, you should have a conversation during the dating period about your wants and expectations of the marriage. That's 100% correct.
Absolutely.
However, you can say what you expect. What you're going to get is a different thing.
Yeah.
Who knows what's going to happen with your career? Who
Yeah.
knows what's going to happen with your body? You know, you could drop off a bus and break a leg and not be able to have sex for the rest of your life. Are you going to say, well, that wasn't in our agreement?
Right.
You know what I'm saying? There's so many things that happen in life that you can't legislate for in advance. So you have to understand that when you enter into a relationship, it's not like the same thing that you do day one is going to happen day 3,000. Everything in life changes.
It's true.
And sorry, just one thing, yeah. If this guy's saying, right, that if we was in a relationship, yeah, and we weren't married, that it won't be a problem. I'll just go and get my things elsewhere. Is that what you're saying?
No.
What's he saying?
He was just asking a question.
Yeah.
Because you
He's a
sound like
happily
you
married man.
forced me to getting married, and because I'm married now, like if I wasn't married, I'd have been doing something else.
No,
But some men are like that, Herbie. Some men are
not.
like that. Some guys are like
Yeah,
that.
some men are definitely
Some
like
guys
that.
are like
But-
that in a relationship.
But this guy has got a beautiful wife. He's got beautiful kids. He's not saying that because he wants to get rid of his wife. He's just trying to make people talk, and he has done. It's a good story. As Lolly said, you know, them guys they make up stuff just to get traction. It's clout chasing.
Can you see what Shell puts there? King Solomon had 1,000 women. Now I know why.
Yeah, he did. He did. He did. Not Delroy, Pierre saying, well, Yvonne, I would like to be on it constantly in a relationship. Not saying 6 times a week, but definitely every week and not once a week either. But that's just me. Well, you're very healthy. And that's good to you know. Well done. As long as you can maintain it.
That's normal.
There's
That's
nothing wrong with it. And as long as when you are having those moments that you are enjoying those moments, your partner is enjoying that equally with you, and you're not just offering 2 pumps and a squirt. That is all. That's all I'm saying. But yeah, I think, you know, most people online say that they have an active sexual life or sex drive, and that's good, and we're supposed to have that. But it does change. And we have to be, some of us are single and will be going into relationships, so it will be slightly different because they've been together for a long time. But as a new partnership and being slightly younger than what we were before, you know, what does that look like? You know, as a more mature person going into a relationship, what does that look like? You know, is it that you're going to be like rabbits like you used to be when you were 20, because it's not. You
No
might have
way.
the expectation up here, but in reality, it's not going to be that way, is it?
Yeah. I don't know what.
They're always like, yeah.
Yeah, it is. I'm going to be swinging from the chandelier, and we're going to be doing it often, like we were.
We know you're going to be swinging from the pole of the chandelier. We know that.
Yeah.
We saw you last week.
There's no chandeliers. There's not. Listen, the chandeliers, they can't hold up the weight. No, there's no chandeliers. No, there are other things, but not chandeliers. Let's just say that. So, somebody said, Mrs. MIB22 says, is putting some guidelines in place. Going to have conversation. And Kelly on Ross is saying 2 pumps and a squirt with a big laughter line on there. Yeah, so guys, I'm seeing messages coming left, right, and center. So the topic of the conversation, as Theo had mentioned about being pressured into marriage, can I just ask, have any of you been pressured into marriage or into a relationship or living together? Is anyone on the panel, male or female?
Nope.
Theo's got his hand up. No, Sophia, do you want to share?
Yeah, I'm going to be honest with my wife. She said, look, in this relationship, because we're getting older, she goes, I want to have children. You don't. So it's up to you. And that's what it was. So we decided to have 1, but it became 2.
Okay.
That was it. Yeah.
And you felt pressured into that then?
No, it was a decision. It wasn't pressured. She just put it out there. It wasn't a pressure. It was up to me to make a decision. But she wasn't going to be in a relationship, like you said, for 5, 6, 7, 8, 9 years, hoping that I might change my mind. Considering I already had 4 children, and she's like, I want a child. I've got none. You've got 4. I want to have 1. So if you don't want to have any more, then as much as I love you, I will go. So thought about it. It took me nearly a year actually. And then I was like, okay. Yeah.
And you made the decision.
Yeah.
So
and that's a good decision as well.
So I'm just sitting back in my chair now, because we were talking about being pressured, and he said pressured, and you were kind of like saying, yeah, it's pressure. So did you actually feel pressured to get married?
To get married? No, I was children, not married. No, marriage was just the children. Just the children.
Oh, the children.
No, the marriage was different.
Okay.
The marriage, I said, if we're gonna have children, we're gonna get married. Because I always said that if I'm gonna have any more children, I was gonna marry the person. I've done the other bit. So if I'm gonna do it, I'm gonna do the whole thing. Might as well.
You see, I like the fact that you took the year to think about it, because with Val,
so it's life changing, isn't it?
When his wife told him back then, I only want to be engaged for a year. To me, if someone said that to me, I'll be like, well, I'll tell you what, we'll get engaged, and in a year we'll talk about it, because I might want to stay engaged for another year. I'm not saying, yeah, okay, we'll be married in a year. That's not happening. You're not going to put a timestamp on it for me. So the fact that you didn't give an answer that day, that week, that month, and you took your time and thought about it, I would respect that.
Good response.
Yeah, because it's a life-changing decision, having children. It's not like an overnight you have a baby and that's it. They're gonna disappear, and that's life-changing. You have to make plans. Yeah. I already had 4 children at the time, and they were quite big. So it's about thinking, okay, can I maintain that? And I'm a hands-on dad. I'm not a dad that stands up on the sidelines and watches. I'm all in. So it was like, okay, can I do this? Yeah, why not? Why not? Was it an ultimatum? Yeah, it was an ultimatum. It was an ultimatum.
Me and my last partner, we both talked about having a child together. It took us about 15 minutes, and that was, forget it. We didn't need a year.
Oh, that's funny. Yeah, nah. Yeah, it's true. No, it's not an option. There you go. So you know, so when I know that there are some women who will be like, we got to get married, we got to get married, we got to get married. But I think, you know, I don't generally think that many women would say that unless they want to have children, unless they're a bit older and they want to have children, then they might throw the marriage card maybe, or give that kind of slight ultimatum. But I think for me, it's, you know, it's not an ultimatum, it's just a fact. I'm not having any more kids. Don't ask me. It's not up for discussion. Not interested. Done. That's it. If you want children, go and have them. Just not with me. That's it. And that's how it's been. My youngest is 21. So that's how it's been throughout. So it's not just now as I'm at this young age that I'm at now. It's, you know, it was like, no. But that's a choice. My choice. And as much as I could love him till I can't love him no more. The answer is no. It's not up for discussion. And so if you're going to have that ultimatum to say, well, we have to do, and this is what I'm saying, if someone's coming to me and saying that this is, oh, Yvonne, this is this, and, you know, if I don't want to be living like this in a year's time, then I'll say, well, if I know categorically that I don't want it, I'm just going to have to say, that's not going to work for me. And as much as I love you, I'm going to have to let you go.
Just a quick point. Natural Mystic just throw up a question. Do men and women know when they're going to get married and have a child? I was 100% knowledgeable about when I was going to get married, because I got married on my 30th birthday, which was the day I said I was going to get married, years before it happened. And I had my child a year later.
Yeah.
Well, you're a success then, because I don't know many men who know that story. I don't know many facts who are on point like that, or women.
Did it work?
Some do.
Did it work?
No, it was divorced after 4 years.
There you go.
Yeah, I did it again, Lorraine, and it went 16 years.
Huh?
But I'm just going to ask Herbie the same question.
I got married again after on my 40th birthday.
Oh, Lord. Are you 50 yet?
I'm gone 50.
Oh, thank goodness. I thought he was going to do it every 10 years.
Well, I did try. Because that was my theory.
I'll be the Guinness Book of Records.
Will remember, I said marriage should only be for 10 years. Because my theory is you should get married for 10 years, and at 10 years, you should get the option to jump out and do something else, or you
marriage
get an option to
for
extend.
life.
That's not what marriage is about, Tony. That's not what marriage is about.
I hope if I ever get married, Tony, I would hate to think that my future husband is only intending on being married to me for 10 years. It's supposed to be.
Well, you don't know what's going to happen after 10
No, you
years,
don't.
do you?
If he's in his head saying, yeah, I'll marry you, because by the time we're 60, we'll be getting divorced. Then what's the point? What was the point of us getting married? We might as well just.
Everybody has that great intention that, oh, this is the one I'm marrying for life. But I've been there, and I know it don't work.
Did you marry with your vows then? Did you not take your wedding vows serious?
I don't know what you're talking about.
You know, for better or for worse, till death do us part. You never took any of that seriously.
Well, who does?
Because if you're saying that you're only married for 10 years and then.
Well, people do. People do.
Who takes them vows? If you're richer and poorer, till sickness and death do us part, nobody gets divorced.
Well, this is why I'm not married. This is why I've never been married, because I would take them seriously.
Yeah, same.
Everybody wants to have that marriage for life, but let's be honest, more people get divorced than get married. Than don't. Yeah.
Then to me, you weren't friends in the first place. You've got to be
the rate of people that stay together.
Your relationship.
What's that?
Yeah.
You've got to be friends first, then, isn't it?
Yeah, and that's why it's important.
Friends.
Yeah, but who says I wasn't friends? I was with the woman for years before.
Well, make you sound better than that, then, Tony.
This is another subject. You see, this is another subject for another day. But what happens when a woman gets married? All of a sudden, things change. You could
Is it
be
just
with a
when?
girl, throw it around for years on years, and then all of a sudden you say, I'm going to put a ring on it. And what happens when you put a ring on it? Oh, now we're going to change.
But so do men
Men,
change.
yeah.
What I
You're
hear.
absolutely
Men,
right, Lorraine.
once
You're
they put a
absolutely
ring on your
right.
finger, they change too.
But
Remember
you know
that.
what? I've introduced a lot of sayings in this group, like the ironing board, yeah? Let me give you another one, yeah? Do you know what the worst thing for a woman? Wedding cake, yeah? Because as soon as the wedding cake get eat, she change. Men see that when women get married, they change. Ain't always
Can I,
the case,
can I, can
Lorraine.
I,
Ain't
can
always
I,
the case.
Wow,
well,
you're
can I say, yeah,
You're different.
Herbie, come in, please.
can I say, yeah, I must be one of the exceptions to the rule. Yes, there was a change, but the change was very positive.
I
Good.
yeah.
With what Yvonne was saying, like Michelle, I met Michelle. Me and Michelle knew from school, but you know, we used to be going out and on and off sort of thing. It's only after what I was about 20 when I decided to myself, you know something, I'm gonna have to get myself married, sort myself out, commit to someone, or I'm gonna end up being like the typical guys ran at that time. You know what I mean? Having a woman here, having a woman there, having baby here, baby there. And that wasn't really what I wanted. I wanted to get married and have children. That's what I had in my mind. Yeah. And I wanted to get married to someone that I believe that I would live with till we die. I didn't have no term relationship. It was like a, you know what I mean? We just go with it. You know what I mean? And yes, I took my vows seriously. In terms of not so much the vows that was given in terms of what you say in terms of the written stuff, but in my heart it's like, you know something, we're for life and that's it. So it's about your life partner. So whatever happened, yeah, we're gonna have to work it. You know what I mean? So we you know, I did well. We agreed a date, a quick date, because there was no. We thought, okay, we're here. Okay, we want to get married. Yeah, we want to live together. I said, what's stopping us really from getting married and getting sorted out? And there was nothing really. I was working, I had money in the bank, so I thought, you know something, we get engaged in 6 months. Another 6 months after that, we get married, sort of thing. And it's like, yeah, we can work with that. And that was it. No pressure, and it was agreed by both. You know what I mean? It wasn't. It was. You know what I mean? It was like, you know, is that okay for you? Yes, okay for me, and went for it. You know what I mean? And yes, things have changed over the years, but to tell the truth, they've changed for the good. They have changed for the good. There's nothing really. I can't say anything really negative about the thing. Anything that's happened it's been something new that we have to sit back and say, like, boy, this is new ground. Never been here. And yes, it may kind of shake us a little bit, but after a while, it's like, okay, we learn and we move on. It's all a learning, because every time we have a children, it's a new thing.
Yeah.
This have new thing. We buy a house, everything's all new. Never been there before. You know what I mean? So, you know, and yeah, we just live as it is. You know, with it, the sex side of it, again, it's important to the marriage, but it's secondary. You know what I mean? You know, I said sometimes you go through, you have a season, you know what I mean, where it's just like, yeah, you know, things are good. And I think them times there you have to store up what you have, because you know what I mean, you can get a dry season where the season's dry. But hey, you know what I mean? The thing is, what I do know or what I believe, and because it's happening all the time, that it's a season, yeah, and it ain't lasting forever, and it's gonna come back around again. So while I'm in my dry season, let me just sort myself out, because there's gonna come a time when, you know, I mean, I'm gonna have to keep up. So you know, you just go with it. You go with the flow. But I'm enjoying my relationship and my marriage, and you know, I know I might be exceptional to a lot of relationships out there, but you know something,
No,
it's working for me.
it's Tony.
Don't be silly, Lorraine. There's more divorced people than there are people stay together. People say such stupid things sometimes. How can I be
Aw.
the exception when I'm the majority?
Well, I've never been in a relationship
Are
with
you
a man that's
married?
the same as
Have
you.
you been married?
No.
Why?
Well, the last person I was meant to marry, you know what happened,
Oh
Tony.
yeah, sorry about that.
Right,
Yeah,
thank
I
you.
know what happened. Sorry.
Right. So Lolly Lorraine says you
Yes.
get married to be together for the rest of your life, life permitting.
Oh, not
Can we
me.
go back? Because I'm on two different devices, so that's just gone. Can I get that comment back up? Okay, I've got it here. You get married to be together for the rest of your life, life permitting. It's a serious thing. You take those vows seriously. Yes, people change. You change together. That is marriage. That's Lolly Rollins who said that.
That's good.
You change together. That is marriage. Delroy Tollock says schoolyard relationship tend to last longer than multiple relationship. Schoolyard relationships, less baggage or no baggage. Multiple relationships, a lot of baggage and heartbreak. And that's true. But what we do have to do in terms of those of us who have been in multiple relationships is learn to forgive. Because when we hold stuff, we carry that pain into the next relationship. And you have to learn to forgive not only yourself, but the person who's hurt you. Because if you don't forgive, you're setting yourself up and that other person in that relationship to fail. That's what you're doing. And that's what we don't do. And that's why we go through multiple relationships, because we take the hurt and the pain from one place. We carry it like a flipping bag from one place to from one relationship to the other. And you'll know when this happens, because when you start thinking about certain things that's going on in the relationship, you'll start to compare to other scenarios that you've been through. And if you are feeling that today, if I've touched a nerve today, if I've stepped on your corn toe by saying that, then that's telling you that you've got some forgiveness work to do. You really do.
Not me, son. Not
I
me.
think that's something that does come with age as well, because when we're younger, it's easier for us to just say, allow it. I'm just going to dash him away. Yeah. But when you get older, you're more prepared to sit down and work through issues rather than just.
Oh, is it? I'm the opposite. As I get older, I'm like, bye.
No, but if you was
I'm
married,
the same as Michelle.
if you was married now, Yvonne, maybe you'd be more willing to forgive and work through issues than just get rid.
Now, when I was younger, I would have forgiven. When I was younger, I would have dashed away. Now I'm more forgiving.
Yeah. I think it depends on what it is. I think it's the scenario. I am very much.
Yeah, true.
I'm very much a realist, and I kind of know my own heart. So, and I am, and my family will tell you this. Anybody that knows me will tell you this. When I say it's done, it's done. Bye. And I'm very cutthroat. That's it. I make up my mind, make a decision. That's it, done. And I'm not going back. And it's not that I don't forgive. It's just that I just can't. I'm not tolerating that. I know what I want.
Well, you see, I'm like that, Yvonne. As a single woman.
Yeah.
Like now. When I could go on a couple of dates and, more than a couple of dates, but I'm easy to just be like, nah, forget it. But I'm saying, like, if I was in a relationship or married, I'd be more prepared to work.
Well, yeah. I mean, I've been married, as most of you know. I was married at 19. If I was in a situation again that occurred, would I do the same thing? I probably would do the same thing. Probably. I might handle the situation differently, but the result of it would probably be the same. Everybody's got boundaries, right? And this is, we are going slightly off topic, but in terms of what this guy was saying in terms of his wife, if he'd known that she wasn't going to give it up as much, he might not have married her. you never know what's going to happen. It's when you're getting married, you're taking a chance. If I married somebody again and the same situation happened, I would then have to think that I'm jinxed because this happens again, and I think that I'm the common denominator here. So maybe there's something for me to learn. That's the first thing. But if I hadn't experienced that before and it was a new thing, I probably would, and it happened the same way, I probably would do the same thing. I'd probably walk.
Yeah.
I probably would. You know, having the knowledge that I had, if I had the knowledge that I'd probably do it differently, so my son wouldn't have been affected as he was. That's the only thing I would probably change. But I would have walked from that relationship.
Hindsight's a wonderful thing, Yvonne.
It's absolutely beautiful, isn't it?
We can all look back 20 years and say we wish we would have done something different. And for the woman who wrote in and said Tony needs to forgive, I forgave because I co-parent with my ex, and we get on. We just have to do so because we have a child. We have two children together. One is one is 17 and one is 7. So I have to. Yeah. So I don't have a choice but to forgive. I don't cuss the woman down. I don't slate her to my children, and I don't expect the same in return. So it's some people will end up in a bitter fight, which I did at one point. But you know what? After a time, you get to the point where you're like, you know what? If I'm going to have a decent relationship with my children, I can't have that battle negativity going on.
Yeah, I hear you. Somebody said, Alison James says, I thought it was the other way around. She says, I think as I'm getting older, I'm less tolerant. I think
it depends on what we're talking about, because obviously, if for me, I wouldn't tolerate cheating, but when I say more forgiving or whatever, it could be something minor. I don't know. I can't think of nothing off the top of my head. I don't necessarily mean big things.
Right. So this young man was talking, and he was saying things about, feeling pressured and looking outside, and the young lady said, if she had known, because I wanted to fling it on the other side now, if she had known that would feel the way that she might not have wanted to get married. Yeah. So we know that, in all of this, guys, I think the one thing that we have that's very clear is that we develop at different rates as human beings, men and women. We know that our sexual clock is completely different to one another's. It doesn't gel. So there has to be an element of coming together. There has to be an element of understanding. There has to be an element of give and take. And I think when he was going nah in the thing, I just thought, you're a punk. You're just very childish. You're a little boy, and you're acting like a little boy now. Because I think she was trying to explain her changes and how she's feeling and how that is for their relationship. And like Tony says, they've got beautiful kids. They're a beautiful couple. So I can only imagine that their children are beautiful too. I can only imagine. And so I think if we take the whole thing and take them out of it, and we just look at the bare bones of the relationship, and we put that in our own lives now, what would we learn from that? There's a young, you're a young couple, you get married in your 20s, you're now in your 30s, things have changed. You might be getting married, you might meet somebody in your 40s, you might meet somebody in your 50s, and you're going to start a relationship. What is it that you want? And are you going into that relationship with a realistic mindset? And I think that's the fundamental thing that we have to start thinking about, especially those of us who are single. Those of you who are not, how can you make your relationship a little bit more spicy? How can you kind of come together and gel a bit more so that you're not thinking, oh, they're not giving it up and I'm not getting it and I'm feeling rejected, and so from that perspective, I think that has to be looked on. But certainly from the single perspective, I think we really do need to think about what we want and be realistic in what we want for the age. Not to say that there's any restriction on age, but we are not 20.
But
So
that's
what we
communication, isn't it, Yvonne? I mean,
yeah,
you know,
yes,
we've spoken about this for
mm,
weeks and weeks, and it's always come up that, you know,
yeah,
communication is the most fundamental part of a relationship, whether it be, you know, what kind of food you like, what kind of music you like, how much time you like to spend in the time in the football, you know, all these things that we have in our lives, children, travel, our jobs, all these things have to be told and discussed. And only after a period of discussion and communication can you come to the realization that, hey, another person can fit into and work within your, you know, the way you live. You know, if you've got children, you know, you're going to have to look after your children. Can that other person fit in your life and around your children, with your children? You know, I've always said it. If you got a dog, I'm not interested. I just don't do dogs. That's my pet hate. That's the one thing on my list. I just don't do dogs. But you know, all the
you're
rest
not
is
telling the
all
truth,
about
Tony.
communication.
Not even a little cockapoodle. Yeah?
I just,
A little small, little cute little dogs. Nice.
Listen, don't let Tony fool you. Tony wants a dog so he can lick his face, yeah? That's what what's the expression? I know that repulses you. I thought I'd say that anyway.
yeah, you know that.
Yeah, I do. But I hear you. I hear what you're saying. In terms of, you know, it is about, and I agree. We're not going to get anywhere. We're not going to develop our relationships unless we learn to communicate and be honest. And I think we can talk about being honest, but now it's the action. How are we going to take that action further in our relationships so that our relationships are successful? Because ultimately, that's what we want. So for those of you who are single, Dean Bailey says he's young, free and single. So there is a single man he's put it out there. He's young, he's free and he's single. And maybe he wants to mingle with somebody. I don't know. So there's somebody out there. Dean, you should have been on last week's show. We were looking for men to come together with a female for 90 days, go out and get to know each other. And not one man came forward. And not one.
Yeah, they didn't.
Not one. Not
Mhm.
even half a man. Anyway, so I my thing is we need to be talking about, and we're going to do a show on what is single. What does it mean? Because single means different things to
Yeah.
different people.
You're right.
And there are people who are single that are not single. They're single. They don't have a girlfriend to say, this is my girlfriend, but they have a friend.
Like the men that was commenting last week. They were all single until you pulled them up.
That's right. And then nobody,
not one.
Not ready right now, and I'm kind of
not
stuff.
ready. And the thing is, I don't see none of them this week. I don't see none of them. I think I frightened them.
It's the lockdown, Yvonne.
There's
Lockdown
no
2.0.
lingerie.
Laundry, man.
The lingerie.
There's no lingerie.
There's
There's
only
no laundry.
the lingerie. There will be a little bit of lingerie next week. I'm going to show again some of the pieces from last week again next week. But we're also going to be talking about what is single. What is single? What does it mean? What is it really? Because there's lots of people out there that are telling me they're single, but they can't show their face on the camera. And I want to understand. I want to understand what this is about. So maybe you guys can help me understand this one, because I want to know, why is it? What is single? What is single?
You can ask next week, Yvonne. Don't forget, you're coming on Men Talking next week.
Yes, that's right. Next week.
Northman.
Oh, yes, but I can't put that out to everybody because not everybody can come. But the ladies in the After Dark panel, we have been invited to another show with Tony and the men talking. So we will be there next Wednesday. Next Wednesday, we will be there to have a beautiful conversation like we did the last time. So, yeah, and we will be here. Lolly Rollins is saying there's no lingerie this week. That's why there's no men here.
That's right.
That's right. That's right.
Listen to them. Yeah, that's right. That's right. Okay. But yeah,
I want to see Lolly on the pole again. That's
yeah,
why.
yeah. Actually, just to divert a little bit,
You've done
had
a
so much
fantastic
good
job, by the
feedback
way.
from last week's show.
Hmm?
Say that again.
No, I was
Gina.
saying that Lolly's done a fantastic job.
Thank
You did.
you.
Absolutely
Oh,
incredible job.
you.
Had so
Fantastic.
much feedback.
That's good.
Yes. And
Yeah,
that Eden
from all
outfit
the girls.
fitted you well.
All the ladies were good, yeah.
Yeah.
Thank you.
That Eden
All of
outfit was
them.
made for you, Lolly.
Yes. Yes. The Eden is very popular,
It was,
and the goddess is very popular.
which one's the goddess? The orange one?
Looked like it was made for me.
The
It was
orange
made
one
for
is called the Jadine. The Jadine.
Okay.
Say that again now, Lolly. Let me say it again.
Anything you put me in will look like it was made for me because sorry, I'm body confident. I know I look good.
No, the Eden one was. The Eden one was.
Because I don't have the boobs and the batty, but I'm confident still.
No, the Eden one
You're
was
good.
definitely for you, man. The Eden one, it fitted you well.
Yeah. Yeah. And that French, the French
French
song,
cut.
the French cut G string
Yeah.
is very popular. Very, very popular. So yeah, you modelled it well. So thank you very much.
And
So
you know what about that as well, Yvonne?
Mhm.
See the material, because I wasn't in the chat last week. I was only typing it. You know, the material is so, the edging of it is so fine, you wouldn't get VPL.
Okay.
Which is what I like about that as well. Because I can't, when I'm wearing jeans or leggings, I hate having VPL. And I'm not always, you know, I don't want to always have a full thong because the French knicker part could, on some underwear, could still give you.
I'm just watching you.
Still give you VPL. Because it's nice and smooth.
Lolly,
It's nice.
The VPL with the French thong is fine. You know, it's, as a guy we know that's kinky knickers wearing.
That's
it's not
nice. That's nice. That's nice. That's nice.
It's not
Ooh, I
dry.
hate VPL.
No.
Look at the men. Look at them.
No,
They're like,
the French cut one is fine.
Don't worry about it.
Big
Don't worry
drawers
about
is
it,
the
man.
problem.
You have to
listen
understand a
to
man's
the
mind.
men.
Don't worry about it, man.
Wow.
Yeah, if you get French cut or Brazilian cut, we can see the cut. We
Don't
say,
worry-
okay,
don't
we
worry
know what
about
you're
Yes,
wearing.
sir.
I'd rather you was thinking, is she wearing any underwear at all?
No.
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 This is the misconception, Lolly.
You want to see
Oh,
the
right.
underwear line?
So we should stick to the big baggy because you'll definitely see
No,
them.
not the big baggy. No. Take it out.
Like a little bit of lace
Hey,
detail
but
somewhere.
all the ladies
You
with
know,
the big
a little
drawers.
bit of lace
I got a
detail
friend
on
that
the
likes girls with big drawers, so it's all good.
No.
My friend says big drawers, big bum. That's what he says. So
What is it? Ask him if he wants me to start an OnlyFans page so he can watch me parade around in big drawers.
he said you have to have a big bum to fill those drawers. So he said, hey,
Oh no, I'm not doing them.
Wow.
that's what he says.
Well, that French G-string comes in size up to 8. I said last week that it was only up to size 14, but we're actually doing it up to size 24. So that's
Great.
Wow.
Good.
I can never unsee. I saw Judy Love on
Oh, I saw that as well.
with the G-string. I can't unsee that forever now.
I saw that.
She said her son was saying, "Why are you walking around naked?" The G-string was up in her thing.
That's what a G-string is. You know,
I can't
No,
see that
she
now.
said it disappeared because of her fat. It folded over, so it looked like she had no underwear.
That's
I
right, yeah.
see. Oh dear.
That was funny though.
I didn't see it.
Funny.
That was funny.
Yeah, Lolly Lorraine saying the men's faces have brightened up on the panel since we've been talking about the lingerie. You guys have suddenly come alive. What's going on?
I missed it last week. I missed it last
It wouldn't be men if you didn't, if you weren't happy and smiling when you're about, lingerie and,
week.
it's a man's world.
Isn't it?
Well, Lolly, I've got to send you I'm gonna have to send you a bill because Michelle's putting a proposal to adapt the bedroom.
Oh yeah.
Good.
I'm telling her that a pole can't fit inside her bedroom, but she's trying to make it work.
She's
So-
not the only one, Lorraine.
Yes,
She's not the only one. I'm actually doing my boudoir as we speak. I'm redoing. Got a new bed coming, but I don't know if a pole's going to fit in there. But I really want one.
I'm hearing it, brother. I'm hearing it. Wow. That's what I can say.
I'm not getting no pole because, like I already said, I don't think it's strong enough for me.
Oh,
right?
it is.
No,
It is.
Yeah,
I was tired. I wouldn't even make it up the pole. That's why when you do it, Lolly, you make it look so graceful, so easy.
You'll make it.
Yeah, don't underestimate yourself.
Correct them. Correct them.
Listen, even I managed to do it with a bad shoulder. I don't have much grip with my left hand, and I even managed to do it. So if I can do it, you can do it. You don't underestimate yourself. You just got to take time with yourself and learn.
Go for it.
Very true.
Yes. So I would love to have a
I'll bring the popcorn and the drink.
Yeah, so we're going to be sure we're coming down to the end.
To bring your wife as well.
Huh?
To bring your wife as well.
Oh yes, she'll be on the board as well.
Yeah,
I can
it's all good.
Yeah, if you want.
She's done it before.
Oh.
But
She's done it before.
You never know everything.
Don't worry. After this lockdown, I'll have to come and try out the pole.
Yeah, I'm fine with that.
Yeah, it was good fun. It's good
I'm
fun.
coming to see that one.
I'm coming as well with the drink and the popcorn. And make sure my item clean too.
We'll have a team build at your house, Lorraine.
It's just support. We just come to support. Just support.
Yeah, man. Didn't go over that word. That's the word. Support.
You lot are dread.
You can come and support.
Some encouragement.
So listen, guys, we're coming down to the end of the show. We've only got the last 5 minutes left of the show, but I just want to thank you guys for being here. Just to let you know that next week we will be showing the lingerie again. We'll just show the clips just to remind you of what it looks like, what the prices are, and we are coming up to Black Friday as well. So there may even be some discounts on the items as well. Just to put that out there. Also, next week we'll be talking about what is single. What is single?
I would like to know that.
What is single to you?
Yeah.
And so I would like to have more interaction with you guys. Want you guys to be open and honest so that we can have an understanding of what you think single is, because we all have a different perception of what it is. So want to thank you all for being here, guys. In the last few minutes, do you have anything that your takeaways from today's show? I'm going to go to Herbie first. So what's your takeaway from today's show?
Yeah, it's a good show today. Good discussion. Yes. Well, what I've taken away really is that, as I know, life changes, and you've got to commit really. And that's what makes most women want commitment. Some men, generalizing, might not want to commit, but women they seem to be more of the gender that want to commit. But, yeah, that's it.
Thank you, Herbie. Sheena, your takeaways.
Yeah, it was a good show. My takeaway is obviously just had an insight into how and why men feel pressured. Obviously, watching the video today as well. It's just about the communication again, isn't it? It's just knowing to just have that frank conversation, to just know what each other wants. So you're just more open with each other, and you just, have a better understanding. So yeah, that's my takeaway. But it was a good show. I enjoyed it.
Thank you for being here, Sheena. Theo, what's your takeaway?
Just being more realistic when you're going into a marriage or to a relationship. Just be more realistic and expect it's not going to be the same how it started, because nothing is. So be a bit more realistic and a bit more open-minded in a relationship, and not so easy to throw it away. Give it, things are going to happen. And as Herbie said before, everything in life is seasonal. So let's just ride it out. Sometimes people are quick to throw away things. We're in a throwaway society where, you know, it doesn't work out, let's throw it away. So let's just ride things out, because stuff happens. It's life. Nothing's the same. You start off a job, it's not the same 10 years down the line. So give a relationship a chance. If you're going into a marriage, expect it to change. You know, it's going to change. Definitely going to change, because you're going to change. So it's going to have to change, because you're going to change. So yeah, that's my takeaway.
I love that. Love that. Thank you, Theo. Lolly, what's your takeaway?
That sometimes we might be on the same ocean in different boats. You can't always expect someone else to jump out of their boat to come to swim in yours. You've got to meet each other halfway and compromise and talk about it. Because you don't know what curveballs are going to be thrown at you. So yeah.
Thank you. Love it. Tony.
So having had 2 marriages, I would say the thing that I've learned over the years is that you've got to be tolerant, and you have to have resilience. You know, resilience is a tough thing in life, because not everybody has resilience. But you need to have some form of resilience, and you need to build that up. That's one of the things that I try to work with the young people I work with, is trying to build up resilience, because you face so many obstacles in life, you know, and a relationship is a tough thing in society today, and you need to have some resilience to be able to deal with that. But you know, what everybody else has already said is key: communication, and a tolerance.
Brilliant. Thank you so much, guys. You've sealed the end of the show, and we are at the end, and we're spot on time. So I want to thank you all for joining us. We will be back here next week, Tuesday, between the hours of 10 and midnight, for the After Dark relationship show. We will be showing the lingerie again, so do remember to join us. Do remember to contact your friends, your family, and your frenemies. Let them know what we're doing. Let them know what we're talking about next week. We will be talking what is single. What does it mean? What does it mean to be single? What does it mean to act single? If you're single, do you have a booty call? Do you have a friend with benefit? Are you still single if you have those things? Or are you something else? We're going to be discussing that, because we want to know why the men are not coming forward. We're just calling you out. That's basically what we're doing. If you don't like it, well, never mind. We're just going to do it anyway. But yeah, we want to hear your views, and we want you to be honest. Don't feel no way. Just don't tell the person that you're sleeping with that you're going to be on the show. That's all you need to do. Just don't say anything. That's all. And then you can come and talk and be honest.
They go on YouTube and
can you come on? All them men there that I got talk in the chat, why don't you come on?
Right.
I don't understand it.
I don't get it.
You know?
It's because them have a ram in the bush that nobody know about. That's what the problem.
Come on,
That's
guys,
what it
you
is.
can do
And so
better.
they see all these beautiful women on here, and they can't approach them because they're not actually singletons. They've got other things going on. They've got extracurricular activity going on. Anyway, I want to thank you all. Those of you who are on Facebook, thank you for joining us. Thank you for your comments tonight. Those of you who are on YouTube, thank you for your comments. We'll be back here next week with the After Dark show. Please do remember to join us. And you will also be able to join me on Friday for Morning Inspiration. And we are doing Friday Freedom Friday. So that's it for us. It's good night from me, and it's good night from them, guys. If you're going to say goodbye.
Bye, guys.
See you guys. We're out of here. Ciao.
Good night. Bye-bye. God bless.
See ya.